today I wanted to mix it up. I wanted to change it up a little bit. I got the homie Blind Al up in the motherfucking Guys Hour podcast.
Peace, peace, y'all.
So where did first of all let's just talk about the name. So people I
Okay,
don't know they call themselves I don't know. They have a name, right? It'll be like fucking the Fantastic Freddy or some shit like that. Like is your name even Al or like where did that derive from?
okay, yeah, word. Okay, so yeah, my government name is Alec, Alec.
Mhm.
So for a minute when I first started rapping and shit, I didn't really have a name, you know. I was just like putting music out and sharing it with my friends, like hometown friends. You know, I moved away when I started making music, but I still share it to my hometown friends and just be my name, Alec. You know what I'm saying? Like Alec B. Braden is my last name, so I just put B at the end for like my last name. And then I started feeling like a little subconscious. I'm like, man, I don't really fuck with this name thing. I got to figure out a name. And I would see a lot of my friends that do music, you know, they get real serious when it comes to like finding the name and really thinking deep and like trying to figure out, you know what I mean, all this thought when it comes to putting your name in and shit. And I was just like sitting there one day and I've always been about, you know, like spirituality and fucking like real deep shit, right? And seeing the world for what it really is. So when I thought of the concept of Blind Al, cause like low key, I'm big into like comic books and shit, and like you know all the comics and superheroes and shit. And there's a character in the Marvel universe named Blind Al, but it's a woman, right? She blind and like, but I was like, fuck it,
What
I'm gonna
the
twist.
fuck?
Yeah, I'm gonna twist that and turn it into like me and change, and
Uh,
I'm gonna be Blind Al because that's my name, Al. You know, but I'm gonna
wait,
use
why was the
blind.
chick? Why was the chick Al? Why was her name Al?
Yo,
Blind
I
Al.
don't even really know, honestly. Probably her government name had started with AL. I don't really know too much about it. I can't lie, but I just thought it was dope, you know, because it connected with me, like the Al thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, I don't care that it's a woman or whatever. I'm gonna use the name and I'm gonna turn it into like, you know, yo, I'm blind when it comes to like, you know, the material world. I'm blind when it comes to, you know, love. Like I'll give love to whoever deserve it. Like if my eyes were closed, I don't see what you look like. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care what you look like because this shit ain't real. This flesh and all that, like it ain't real to me.
Mhm.
And like I'm trying to see the world for what it really is, which is my third eye vision, your mind's eye. You know what I'm saying? So like Blind Al really just represents like, yo, I'm blind because I'm using my mind's eye, and that's what I use when I channel the music. Like every time we make a song, we're using our mind's eye. So that's kind of what I did with that. That's why I dropped that first project. Diplopia was it stands for double vision because like we have a double vision in life. We use our two eyes, which is what we see this physical realm, and then we got our other eye, our mind's eye, which is like, you know, the real shit. Like, so
Oh shit, the audio. Something's up with the audio.
nah, you good? Is it good now?
All right, it's good now. I don't know what happened. You over here
I
doing
got
some
I got a
Kevin
phone
Mind
call.
Trick
My
shit
bad.
on the live.
Yeah, my bad.
Wait,
But
hold on. But going back to so Blind Al. If anyone's ever seen Deadpool, she's the blind chick. Have you ever seen Deadpool?
yeah,
So
yeah.
oh shit, you went black. What the fuck? Oh my
Hold up.
god.
Hey yo, is it all messed up?
It's completely black. I don't know what's going on.
Hold up,
Can you
man.
see
My
me?
bad.
Can you see me or no?
Yeah, I can see you, and I'm frozen on the screen. I don't.
Oh fuck. Uh, um, that's weird. This never happened before.
Let me. What if I? Hey, is there a way I could leave and then come back? Maybe.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to shoot you the link though. But god damn it,
Yo,
we're
my
just
bad,
getting
man.
into
That's
this shit.
yeah. Hold up. Hold
I'm
up.
uh,
Hold
let
up.
me
I think I
see.
got it. Hold up.
Okay. Well, it's just me. Well, if you guys are just coming on, this is I'm doing the podcast episode with Al, with the homie Blind Al. Oh, I can add him again? All right. Okay. Let's see if this works. Let's see if he comes back. There we go. Okay, that was weird.
My
That was
bad.
weird.
It's cause
But anyway, so blind Al, she's the blind chick, also known as Althea or
there you
Blind
go.
Alfred. So that's weird. She has both a dude and a chick's name. I don't know. But yeah, she's from fucking Deadpool. And that's fucking funny. That's funny as fuck.
It's also, I can't lie. There's another reason I did that too was because like, okay, so when I was real young, my pops was in a cover band. Like they covered, other songs and shit, and they played mostly a band called Alice in Chains and a band called Blind Melon. And like I took both those names because those are like my family anthems. Those bands, Blind Melon and Alice in Chains, like on some rock and roll shit. And I put both those names together too, and it equaled Blind Al. You know what I'm saying? Like, and both of those names of those bands kind of have the same concept when it comes to like the blind, using your mind's eye and shit. Like Blind Melon really means like the odd one out, right? And Alice in Chains is like when you go down the rabbit hole, you using your two eyes at first, you in chains, you mentally enslaved. But once you really use your mind's eye, you could break out of them chains and shit and be the Blind Melon. So it's like, yeah, I really took a lot of shit in my life and put it into one and like made that, and I stuck with it. I didn't really know if I was gonna stick with that name because I've changed my names a lot. But nah, that one was like, boom, this is totally what I want to run with, Blind Al. And it was crazy when I first came up with the name. I went on like a surge of just dropping tons of shit, and I dropped like maybe 3, 4 projects back to back,
Mhm.
and that's how I confirmed to myself, like, yeah, this is definitely what I'm gonna do because it feels right. It doesn't feel forced. It finally feels like I'm making music that is just organic, completely from my heart. So yeah, it was dope for sure.
That's what's up, man. And originally, and where are you from originally?
So I'm born and raised in Illinois, near Chicago, right? But right now, I'm in Michigan right now, like an hour from Detroit. But I'll probably be going back to Illinois soon. I got a kid on the way, Blind Al, about to be a dad. So
That's what's up, man. Congratulations. I know
yeah,
you said that
thank you.
before. But definitely fatherhood changes you in a way that hopefully is for the better. Some people, they have kids and it doesn't change them at all,
Yeah,
but I know for some people it's like they needed that, like they needed to have a kid
yeah,
to chill them
yeah,
the fuck out or to like make them realize, because it's like all scientific shit. Like when you have a kid, there's like a fucking part of your brain that activates and all this other scientific bullshit. But you know, I guess for some people that part of the brain don't wake the fuck up. But
yeah. Word,
you
I
know,
feel that.
uh, so like, just talk about growing up. Like, what was like, growing up. How was
Word.
that?
Well, so I grew up in like a suburban household, like
Mhm.
my next door neighbors were like my first friends that I had that were like basically the outside of the innocent suburbia world that I knew, like my next door neighbors, which were right next door, suburban too, but they had come from, like Chicago area. So they were like putting me and my older sister, who's 2 years on, to like, I don't know, just all types of shit. We started smoking weed and partying and all that when we were younger. When I was mad young, I was like probably 10, 11. Like my sister's 2 years older than me. And like everyone was friends with each other. We all hung out. I mean, it wasn't like the older siblings hung out over there. Nah, we all were together. So I kind of witnessed a lot. I seen like a lot of kids fall out into hard drugs like heroin and all that shit at a young age. And I seen a lot of things, like what not to do really.
This is
Even
in
though I still
Illinois.
had love for all these people, like I hung around them, but I was like that one kid with the back against the wall, kind of like, yeah, when everyone's like gonna go party, like I'm gonna go home and focus on something else. Like that's kind of what I was always doing.
This is
And
in Illinois.
yeah, this is in Illinois, in a town called Crystal Lake, Illinois. And like, yeah, man, I don't know, like, I kind of I had a lot of friends, at that point because everyone was, hanging out together. But then when people started making, certain choices, to do, whether it was like drugs or bad shit, robbery, whatever the fuck it was, man, just bad shit. I just always was like, nah, I'm not really gonna get involved with that. Like, and it was weird because it was like a year later, maybe when I turned like 12. That's when I found really found hip hop because I was always involved with music. Like I said, my pops was in a cover band, and like at some point his drummer he had a falling out, like he was doing drugs or whatever. So
Mhm.
like, and I remember like when Rock Band came out, when that game came out, I remember like I was obsessed with it. I had that game and I would play that shit all the time, and it basically, yo, it kind of like made me realize that hey, I could actually play the drums like 100%. I know how to play the drums. So, and I had a drum set in the band room, so I would go and fuck around on the drum set. And it got to a point where my parents were like, yeah, we're gonna run this, like for sure. Put me in like a school talent show and all that. So I'm like playing the drums. I got real into it. And then my dad's like put me on to all the bands that, influenced him. So I'm learning about music and getting real passionate. Little did I know that, yo, I was gonna go a completely different route. Cause at that point in my life, I was into like heavy metal and rock and roll and like all this punk rock shit, right? Because of the drums. And I remember like
Who were
later
you
on in life,
listening to? What bands were you listening to?
yo, like all types of shit. But I can't lie, my main shit was like old classic shit, like the Doors and the Who and shit like that. But I actually listened to like heavier shit, like I don't know if you know the band Snot. It's an old band, like they're heavy metal, like Chevelle, which is from Illinois, is a heavy metal band. Pantera, Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, like all that fucking skater metal shit. Because I was a skater kid too, I skateboarded, and like that's actually what led me into hip hop was skateboarding. Like I was a skater kid with all my homies, fucking around skating all the time, filming shit, trying to get footage. And I remember like one day I went to my homie Isaac's crib, and we're just chilling in his room, and he's like the classic, pulling up YouTube, playing music videos like while we're all chilling. But I had never really experienced that before because, like I said, I never really hung out with people. Like I stayed home because I didn't really want to do all the bad shit because everybody was doing what was bad to me, like whether it just wasn't my thing. But yeah, my homie pulling up YouTube and showing me hip hop basically for the first time. And like I said to you, like the other day, like, yeah, he showed me Guru of Gangstar, like his solo shit. Guru has a series called Jazzmatazz, and he started playing that. And it's almost like my homie knew how to like uh communicate this shit to me. Cause he was like, yo, you gotta understand. Cause at this point in my life, I was really blind. Like I didn't fuck with hip hop. I didn't know nothing. I was a hater. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like an indoctrinated kid with this false vision of what is reality. So my homie was
Hip
like,
hop
nah, yo,
haters.
I gotta humble you, and he's like, let me show you some shit. But as soon as he put on Guru, like nothing else was really sticking out for me, But Guru, he put him on, and I was like, yo, like, I swear to God, I heard this voice before. And I did all this connection shit and like went home and just really researched hip hop. And it's crazy because like in the span of like 2 weeks, I remember like I had basically confirmed to myself that that was who I was. Like that was who the fuck I was because it almost it almost was like everything made sense when I found the shit. Like the way that I acted and the way that I talk and all that, like it finally felt like I had a place to put it. Like it wasn't no phase or none of that. This was really me, like since a young kid. So when I found this hip hop shit, I took it real serious. Like I kept listening and listening and learning and learning. Every time I go back to the homies and we'd be like skating around or whatever, like I'd be like, hey yo, check this shit out I found, and then I'd start randomly bringing up, random hip hop shit, and he would continue to put me on the shit he knew, and then I would show him like the little raps I wrote. And at first, like it was like laughable, like a little joke. Oh, I wrote a rap, and they're like, oh, yo, Al wrote a rap, like let's hear it. And it's like laughing and shit. But then it became, like he had a homie that lived behind him who had a studio in the basement, and like I would go over to his crib and we would just go to the neighbor's house and record, you know. Like it got to the point where they were like probably like 5 years older than us, but they were like, yo, I'm willing to record you guys, like you guys are dope. So we had some like older homies showing us, you know, the ropes to like recording music and shit. And
And you still rolling that blunt? What the fuck is
yeah,
going
yeah,
on?
yeah, man, I've been slacking, but whatever, never mind that. So it was just like this. We'd be sitting there standing around, everyone rolling a blunt, fucking recording, writing verses and shit. And it was like, yo, this is hip hop. Like I love this shit, you know?
Right.
Um, it was almost like skateboarding. Everyone kind of fell off. I had homies who were talented, man. They knew they got sponsored by local shops to skate, right? So that was something that
Mhm.
inspired us. We were like, yo, but all those kids, man, they stopped. They ended up quitting and like throwing it away or whatever. They just didn't give a fuck. Well, when I got engaged with the music again, it was almost like that too, because like everyone had talent, but a lot of homies really just fell off. You know, they stopped really doing. They stopped trying. You know,
Mhm.
and I never stopped trying, but I never really started trying either. Right? Like I always wrote raps, but I never really sat down and as a young like kid, like, oh yo, I'm gonna make a project or I'm gonna do this or have these ideas, like how you were saying, like get a website or push some merch or whatever. Well, I never had those ideas, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe I did, but I never ran with them, right? And
Yeah.
life kind of took its sweep on me. Like I was going through shit with the fam, and then my whole family moved away, and I ended up staying in Illinois. And I was dating this girl, and like I lived with her family, and I just started becoming like the working man and going home and like, you know, hanging out. I never really did anything that I was passionate about.
Mhm.
I think the most thing I was passionate about was like smoking blunts. So my life was kind of like, you know, slowed down and really like just questionable at that time because I wasn't being myself. I was living for other people, you know? And I don't know, I finally snapped out of it because I remember like when I was dating that girl, her stepdad was like, yo, I got a crib you could rent out. I started renting it out. I finally like, you know, felt like I made an accomplishment. For a kid like me, I dropped out of high school, you know, so I finally got a crib and I was like, yo, I'm doing good. I got a job. Like I'm about to be a mechanic. Like this shit is lit. And then I don't know, yo, me and that girl, we had like a falling out and like I kind of didn't want to live in Illinois anymore. My whole family was gone, you know. So I'm like, and I was still mentally mad young, even though I was like 18 at the time. I was real young because as a young teenager, I was real busy like making sure that my older siblings were like, you know, not fucking up, right? Because they were doing drugs and shit. So I sacrificed a lot of my shit chasing them around trying to discipline them while my parents were like not knowing what the fuck was going on, you know?
Mhm.
So I remember like I snapped and was like, yo, I gotta go be with my fam and just chill out and focus on me right now so I can like fall back. You know, I gotta like stop hustling so hard because I'm not making any progress and I don't know how to do life. I don't have no guidance, you know. Like I'm doing it right, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I was feeling depressed. So I went to live with my mom. That's when I went to North Carolina, which is shout out to JB Ill. It's a little bit close to him. And like
Mhm.
I always told him that whenever I go out there, I'm trying to hit him up. But yeah, I went out there and that's when Rona started. So like Rona started and I remember like right before
Are you
Corona
talking
hit.
about Corona?
Yeah.
Oh, because I'm like, yo, Corona, what the fuck does that even? That's fucking hilarious. I don't know.
My bad, yo.
That's
But
when Corona started. That's funny. Because I say that's when the vid, I say all
yeah,
kinds
yeah,
of
okay.
the pandemic. There's
Yeah, the
so many
pandemic. Okay, yeah, bet.
there-
So
there's
yeah,
so many funny shits to that shit.
the Rona, you know, it
Uh,
started and fucking I don't know, man. It was like my sister's at the time boyfriend was like kind of clowning me. He's like, "Yo, you always be like talking about music and like all this shit." He's like, "You got this drum machine and like you got a computer, but you don't even do it. Like, come on, yo, do it." And I was like, "All right,
Damn.
fuck, I gotta do it." So I did. I actually was like, "You know what? You're right. I'm gonna do it." And I did start making beats, and I finally was like making beats, recording them, making patterns, and finally like learning the shit. And as
Mm-hmm.
I was doing that, you know, I learned that, it's not all fucking fun and games. Like you gotta really work. You gotta really do, and not only just on the music, but like everything else aside of that. So I kind of fell back even more and was like, I ain't really gonna be in the public eye because right now I'm in the process of like my beginning.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna chill on like, promoting shit and dropping shit or whatever. I'm gonna just keep making shit. And I remember in like 2020, yo, I made probably like, I ain't even exaggerating. I made probably like, yo, like 5,000 beats, in
What
like that
the
span of
fuck?
2020. Like I got a whole Google Drive, yo, full of shit. And like it's just full of beats, full of recorded verses, all that. And it's like, I always look back and kind of laugh. I'm like, yeah, like I did start out pretty good, like, but I had a lot to learn. And now that I'm here, I feel a little better because I've progressed a lot, like a lot. And yeah, so when that era was happening, like I wasn't doing shit with my life but music. I didn't do shit. I didn't go to work. I didn't for having like been on my own for a long time, supplying for myself and then going to move back in with my mom's like not working. It probably disappointed the fuck out of her and she probably didn't know like she never seen me really work hard and like be a good young man. Like she always seen me just be a bum. So it was like, damn, she saw it again. I was working on music nonstop, and she's like, man, get a job. So one day I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna leave North Carolina because my pops is in Michigan building a house. I'm like, I'm gonna go live in Michigan, and I moved out here. That's where I'm at right now in this little room. I'm in Michigan in this house that my dad's building. And like when I came out here, it's like the surge hit again. Like I started working. I found a job, started working. I started living real healthy. I was doing the alkaline vegan diet. Like I don't know if you rock with that, but like I was doing that shit and I was feeling good. Low key, like I was feeling real good. And like uh I started reading books heavily, like just reading everything that I could find, reading, asking people what should I learn about? I'm gonna read this. And then, uh started investing in the music whereas like buying new instruments to learn like the turntable. I started learning how to fuck with the turntable. you know I started buying plugins that taught me how to do mastering and mixing and shit like that. I finally got like the distribution thing that everyone else is getting scammed by just like me, like
Wait, what do you
the
mean? Like you're
like
paying
DistroKid.
for promotion or?
Yeah, for like just to put the music on like Apple Music and Spotify and shit like that. Like I finally
Oh, what do you got, like DistroKid?
yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay. There's only like a few of those out there, but I mean, they don't do nothing but put your fucking shit on other platforms. And what's
yeah,
crazy is I don't know if you know who Joe Budden is, the Joe Budden
yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
He's
word.
talking. He said some shit like if you're using DistroKid, you're not independent or some
Yeah,
shit like that. And I was
yeah,
like,
100%.
I mean, yes and no, because
No,
like,
yeah, I feel what you're saying. Like you are independent still, but it's like how could you say like imagine being Joe Budden, right? And talking down on people below you. Like you can't tell someone in the fucking step phase 1, "Oh, you're in phase 1, so you're not a real artist." Like that's just bullshit. It's like, yeah, okay, we aren't independent cuz we're paying somebody else to put our music out. So it's not directly to the consumer.
but
But
that's
how are
but
we
that's
supposed
how
to
distribution. That's how distribution works, though. There's
yeah,
nobody.
when
Nobody's
especially
gonna.
when streaming
Nobody's
like
gonna put your music on Spotify and tell you, "Oh, that's free." Like, no, bro. They
right.
have a whole. There's a whole machine behind it that you gotta pay. No one's gonna do shit for free. No one's gonna do no shit like that for free. And then on
Exactly.
top of
Even
that, it's like depending on your deal, it's like if you even get like 90% of like your revenue, that's pretty much independent, bro. Like Duck Down Records, independent. They still get a percentage fee behind all the artists they have on the. So it's like
yeah,
that's just business, bro. Like that's
yeah,
independent compared to if you're on a Def Jam Records or whatever, and they're getting fucking 10% off of every album sale, plus whatever. Plus they need the recoup, like whatever money they spend on you, they need
yeah,
they need all that money back plus whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's like if you're getting royalties off of music you made, you're not independent at all. But it's like if you're getting most of everything that you're putting on a platform, that's pretty much independent. So I don't know. That was just
yeah,
interesting that you said that. You know what I mean?
Nah, I feel that. I don't know, man. I don't know if I agree with him, but I definitely agree with everything you just said because how the hell else are we supposed to really do it? You know, at this point, like you could go to venues or whatever, but nah, like yeah. So that's when I finally did the distribution shit, and like I uh I said fuck it, and then started dropping projects, and that's when I decided I'm like, okay, this distribution shit's cool, but I'm gonna also do direct to the consumer. That's when I did like, look, I made all these CDs myself. Like I printed out the paper, cut it up, and put it in that bitch myself. So I was like learning, like you could tell the CD's a rough draft. I wrote on it. You know what I'm
Damn.
saying? So that's for my first project. And I was like, I'm gonna sell these physical. And it worked out, bro. It worked out pretty good. And then I started getting it down to like, you know, uh I learned how to print the papers and cut them good. And I did my next project. Ah, you got some shit too, eh? Hey, hey, bro, like, let me know how I can cop that. I'm gonna definitely do that for you, man, for sure.
I got, bro. I'll set you up with the
Oh,
plug too. I'll set you up with the plug too if you wanna.
yeah, yeah, that's fire, man. Oh, yo, that shit is fire, bro. That CD right there.
Yeah, man. Just let me know. I only made nine. I only made
Yeah,
9 copies. So this is real exclusive shit right here.
yeah.
Uh, I kept number one, and I only have I gave one away, and now I have 6 copies left or seven.
All right, we'll cut one of those off. I'm a cop one for sure, bro. Let's do that
Yeah,
today. I'll buy that today, bro, for sure. Look,
I got you.
this is a project I'm working on, yo, and I want rappers to be on it. Okay, it's like a beat tape little thing. And I know it's nothing like the shit you got because I did this shit myself. Like I don't really know what I'm doing, but yeah, I still
Well,
gotta
that's
make the
that's more
project.
respectable. It's more respectable, bro. Like the fact that you went out and you did all of that, bro, because it's just a testament to how you are not only as an artist but as a businessman, just trying to do it. Like the DIY shit is real, bro. Like, people make that shit like a big deal. Like, I'm out here doing this myself, and it's like, yeah, bro, you kind of have to do that because what else you gonna
Yeah,
do, bro?
yeah,
Yeah,
for real. You're an artist.
that's dope though. But salute, man. That shit's hard as fuck.
Appreciate that. I actually I kind of like I made good money doing it. So then I said, fuck it. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start giving some of this shit away for free. I made like shirts and shit, like this shirt right here. I made a bunch of merch for the Diplopia shit, and I started just every time a person bought a CD, I every other time I'd throw in like a random piece of merch for free just to hook the people up that were supporting because it was my first run. So I felt like I wanted to, make the people not feel like fans, but more like fam, like family, like we're a family, not like you look up to me, but like we're on the same level. I don't want to be on a stage and have everyone look up to me. I want to be like eye to eye, like family. So I started hooking people up and shit. And I kind of fell off with that. I haven't really done it in a minute, but that's just because it kind of costs a lot of money to, make the shit yourself. I had to pay for like printer ink like a fuck ton of times, and that shit is expensive. So
Yeah.
yeah, I lost a lot of money too, but I made it back, overall. But it was the fun part about it was just like being in contact with people, seeing that people were interested, and like making it more than what it was. Like not just my little project, but like, hey yo, I'm gonna send you this, and like leave a little note and this and that, and it just felt good to be that no like middleman shit, just straight up, yo, I got you. I'm gonna go to the shipment place and ship it out like right now today, and it was cool, man. And uh it worked. So I'm gonna run that again soon. I'm actually planning on doing a Diplopia too, like because like I said, the concept of the project is like there's two types of visions. So like the first Diplopia represents the two eyes, and the second one is gonna represent like the mind's eye. It's gonna be on some more like you know more deep shit. But regardless, at the end of the day, like the most everything that I make, I'm trying to make it like transcending, music wise. Like I try to talk about shit that like, it's like, what is the meaning of life type shit. Everyone be asking those questions sometimes, and it's like that's what I try to generate in my music is like the questions, and like the answers too, because that's how this music is. It's like a therapeutic journey of mantras. Like every time I make a song, I listen to my songs all the time because it's not that I want to hear myself. It's not because I don't really like hearing myself. It's more like it's a mantra to me. It trains me how to keep level head and like think straight. Like, because what I said in some of these songs, like, sometimes it won't hit till later on, and I'm like, oh, I can't believe I wrote that. Then I finally get what I even meant. Like shit, and it's like a good what is it called? Like advice, guidance. So that's why I like, to me, I get a little more like personal with the music. Like I kind of take it more personal because to me it's like this is like a mission for me. There's a mission behind the shit, which is really just like the youth is the future and the world is like very blind, right? Like the name. So I'm like trying to make people really like either embrace their blindness, you know what I'm saying? Or be like open your fucking eyes, like see what's going on and shit. Because we kind of live in a state right now where it's regurgitation of information. Like people will just see shit and spew it back out like the way they heard it. Nobody really ever processes things and lets it sink in and like does their own redefinitions of like the shit they learn. So how we gonna have like, people who could do experiments and learn shit and discover new shit if we're sitting here thinking that, yeah, it's all been done under the sun. Like, yeah, even if it has been done under the sun, that don't mean shit. Because tomorrow you could run into a problem that you might gotta learn something that someone else already learned, but you never met them. You never seen them. You never seen it be done. So
Mhm.
sometimes you gotta learn this shit. And like that's what this music is to me. It's a guidance to get to those things in life. Because at the end of the day, my music and our music, like it's just music, but what we do in our lives and our actions and shit, like that's what matters. So
I don't look
I
at
just
it as
rather
just
have
like if
music
it's
that,
music. I look at it more so like this is something that's like, because like for me, growing up, being Chicano, Mexican American, growing up, all we had was Cypress Hill, which is really only B Real, because B Real's
yeah,
half Mexican,
I was gonna
and
say, yeah.
Psycho Realm. I don't know if you're familiar with Psycho Realm.
Nah, I never heard of it. Shit.
So Psycho Realm is basically they're from Pico Union in LA, which is Sick Jacket and Big Duke, the brothers. But they're like really the for me, they're the most influential because they talk about the fucking government. They talk about
Yeah,
the real street shit. They talk about how, you know, like they just talk about like real shit. And for me,
yeah.
go,
Nah, I
like
feel
that's
that. Are
not
they
me.
are they
No,
from the West? My bad. Are they on the West or are they?
yeah, they're from LA. They're from, but like we're talking about the days of, we're talking about the 90s where LA was a fucking war zone. Like they have the albums like War Stories Volume 1 and 2. Those are really dope. I
Yeah,
encourage
like
everybody to go
Oakland,
check.
right? Oakland was bad in the '90s and shit. I remember hearing about that. Like, and
Yeah,
that's out
the
there, right?
90s was wild, bro. Like just the whole, because you got to think this is during the Rampart days where if you're walking around in LA County and let's just say it's me, you, and the homie, and we're walking, we're three people. Okay, that's a gang, and they could lock us up just for that, just for walking. So people had to walk around in pairs, like twos. But then guess what? If you're two people, now your enemies or whatever could roll up on you, and now you're only two people. So it's like really
It's a system.
the whole system at that point was just
Yo,
geared to put you away,
man.
either out of life or in jail, which is like crazy as fuck. So the whole Psycho Realm thing, going back to that, it really like those were the only influences for me. We have other people. We have Shoreline Mafia, Baby Bash. We have a grip of other fools that are doing what is stereotypical like Chicano rap, and it's like a lot of that is like looking cool, lowriders and
Yeah,
khakis and all that.
yeah.
Versus, I feel like Psycho Realm, it's like they didn't want to be none of that. They wanted to be their own identity, and that's what I want to be. I want to inspire the next Chicano rappers to be, you know, fucking looking up to me like, oh, like fucking, you don't have to fucking be in a lowriders. You don't have to be from LA. Like you could be your own person and have an
Yeah.
identity outside of that.
Nah, yo, that's lit. Hey, peace.
Shout out the homie from Slovenia. That's what's up, man.
Yo,
That's what I'm talking
crazy.
about. I don't even know where the fuck
Ah,
Slovenia is at, right?
ah.
I gotta look
Hey,
on a
man.
map.
There's a hey yo, I can't lie. There's a couple people. I just bought their CD from LA. I don't know if you heard him. His name's Big Daddy Chop. All right, but he just dropped an album called Madala with Nan Fierro and like some other dude. I forgot his name's Mons Rock or some shit like that. But yo, they're pretty fire, man, and they're from LA too. And like, yeah, like I don't know, man. I don't really know too much like Hispanic rap. You know what I'm saying? Like I know, and this is what I'm saying. Like from
Well,
the '90s era.
is a medallion.
Yeah,
Medallion is a medallion. So the cover art is probably like his
yeah,
chain or whatever, and that's
yeah,
big. That's big in the Mexican culture, man. Like not even no rapper big chains, but like a little, you know,
yeah.
cool
That's
little
what it was.
piece.
It was like and there was a woman on it. I forgot who. I don't know the culture that well, but it was a woman was on the medallion, and like I don't know, man. And when I played their first uh track on there, I was really blown away. I was thinking, man, this is like something big. And the cool thing
I
about
used
it
to be
was in
cool
this.
with him. I
What's
used to
up?
be really cool with Big Daddy Chop. We actually have a track going back to like 2017 or 18.
Oh no way. Okay, okay, bet.
I gotta reconnect with the homie, man, just cause my homie Chava Style, he fucking they're really cool together. They've done songs together, and you know me, during this period of time, like I was out of my mind, bro. I was really wilding, like just being just I don't know. I was out of my mind. So I like even like I don't know if you know Fortes, like
Yeah.
a whole grip of fools that followed me and we followed each other back then. I don't even really stay in a contact at this point just because my like mentally I wasn't even in the right mental state to be like now like I'm in a really good like mentally I'm really good to be like empowering the homies and shit, but like back then I was really on some like egotistical like it's all about me
You
type
was
shit.
finding yourself. You was trying to find it. It was in the process. So it's like I
I was
feel you.
definitely processing, you know what I mean? For real.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I can't lie. I remember that's how I found Big Daddy Chop was through a YouTube beat I made, and he emailed me for it and was like, "Yo, could I buy this?" And that's the first time I ever had someone do that. So I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna check them out." And when I checked them out, I was like, "Oh, this is dope." And I was like, "Yeah, you can take it for sure." But he never did nothing with it. But it's like, either way, man, I've always been a fan and shit. And that's what I'm saying. Like I had a lot of Hispanic homies back where I grew up and shit. And like when I would play their shit, they would say shit like they'd be like, "Yo, they're really repping for like our culture and shit." And I was like, "Yo, I never really thought about that," because then I started thinking about, in the East when '90s hip hop and early '80s like started out, and you had like a lot of Puerto Rican rappers, right? And they were trying to put on for like the Hispanic community, but it was a lot of crime shit. And I'm not saying that's bad or whatever, but it's like it was like it was just the same thing as it was already hip hop. It was all that. That was all what it was. So it was like to see how like things could stand out and like create their own shit. Like, bro, we do. I don't know. We do need to see more of that. Like when it comes to like subcultures in the world and shit, because a lot of kids these days think they know like what this culture is and that just because of like stereotypes, right? An American stereotype at that. And it's like, yo, we can't really be doing that because even me right now, like, you know, I don't know shit about like Mexican culture, but I got a lot of friends who could teach me, but we don't take advantage or whatever, or we don't take that, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us don't really try to tap in with that. And
Hmm.
it's like, even with like people who have African homies, they don't really be asking them shit. Even homies that were from Africa, they don't really care enough to, you know what I'm saying? And like people from the UK or overseas or whatever. It's like, but that's what's gonna kind of help the unity because then we're gonna have reasons to like cherish each other, right? Like, oh, okay, I'm not just a fucking white man and you're not just a Mexican or whatever. Like you're over here, like you got
Mhm.
this and this, because the
That's what I'm
world is
trying to
so
say. I'm trying to break down the barriers and all the cultural like I'm trying to like
Babylon.
trying to go through everything because like I don't want people to just pigeonhole me into just like, oh well, he's like he raps just like one of them. It's just more so
Yeah,
I'm trying to people know that I represent. I rap in Slanglish, Spanglish, English. So I never want you to forget where I come from, but at the same time, I don't want you to think like, oh, he's just a Mexican rapper because they try to
yeah,
pigeonhole. Like people don't even know these fucking terms, like what a Latino rapper is. I'm not a Latino rapper. I'm a Chicano rapper that does his own, but I'm not in that Chicano rap style. Like people don't even know what these words even mean. Hispanic people are just programmed to box us in. Like when they say
yeah.
when they
That-
say Africans, they try to group all them together. Like, bro, like there's Guyanese, there's the West Indies, like there's so much shit. But you want to say like black people? If you really want to be real about, that's a fucked up way to describe. Oh, he's
Yeah, it is,
the
dude,
black guy.
for
That's
sure,
fucked up,
100%.
bro.
Yo, to me, that's some Freemason shit because it's like the whole checkerboard and shit. So when they call black people black, like that, it just and look, bro, that's how they used to call all people with brown skin pigments was black. They call them black. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's just it ain't right to me. Like, and that's why even then when I was just explaining like what I was saying to you, like I felt wrong because I was saying, the phrases that we've been given and shit when it's like nah, man, at the end of the day, like we're all people with things to offer and shit. But that's what I was trying to say too, is like we gotta be able to collide these things to create something new, to create something fresh for people, that like why do you think that when whatever, like when Cypress Hill came out, why do you think it was so standoutish or whatever? Like shit like that. And like look at today though, like right now in hip hop, there's a lot of different everything in hip hop, right? And they're all being like they're a lot of things are being pigeonholed to shit, but there's also a lot of things that are in those they could have been pigeonholed or whatever, but like nah, they flew out and they did something of their own and shit. And it's like it's beautiful to see that. And it's like that's how we just got to keep that motion moving because once a artist comes and does something and they do it like it could be done or whatever and then it's over like as long as it's over like but if someone was inspired by it and they wanted to continue that motion it could keep moving and that's why you got bitter people that are like old heads that are be like hip hop changed and shit it's like well what did you do about it like you could have try to carry that motion and keep it moving. If you like Wu-Tang Clan so much from the 90s or whatever, then why didn't you carry that shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, and keep it moving or try to get your children to do that or whatever. But if it didn't carry on, then it's like, that's okay. It'll come back. Everything comes full circle. I mean, look at these rap groups coming out now. People will compare them to like the Wu-Tang in the 90s and shit. They'll be like, oh shit. Like, I don't know if you heard of these other dudes. I forgot what they called. Uh, but they are from LA, I think and it's like a big group of rappers in there, and like everyone keeps comparing them to shit. When it's like you said, they're pigeonholing them to some shit, but it's like, yo, nah, they're doing something completely different. Why can't we, as like consumers, right, like treat artists like stop comparing them to shit like all the time? Because that's what I never got. Some people will even hit me up and be like, yo, you sound like you rap like J. Cole or some shit. And I'm over here like, man, what the fuck you mean I rap like J. Cole? I don't even sound like J. Cole. Go back
That's
and listen to my
horrible.
like, what do you mean? They'd be like, oh, you sound like Earl Sweatshirt. I'm like, what do you fucking mean I sound like Earl? Go listen to it again. I don't even sound like Earl. I sound like me. And like I
Mhm.
ain't never heard these rappers you're saying, but that's our consumer mind state to be like, hey, he sounds like Tyler the Creator because he got a deep voice. Like I've played Mick Jenkins, a rapper from Chicago, to people, and they'd be like, "Oh, is this Tyler?" And I'm like, "Yo, what the fuck you mean? Is this Tyler? Like it's totally different. Don't you know how to analyze shit?" And it's like, yeah, man, I don't know. I appreciate all the shit that you're trying to do because it gives the viewer a reason to analyze it deeper. Whereas like a lot of the shit given to us that that blows up, there's not really no deep analyzation in it. It's just kind of what it is, and that's cool too. You want to kind of just do what it is and let it be what it is, but you want people to kind of get like into it, involved with it, so that they can have that deep, more firm understanding that we strive to have in everything that we, want to learn and shit. Like, and that's one thing that really matters, especially in America, is people's ignorance when it comes to like a conversation with someone who's in a different culture than you, and actually being comfortable enough to fucking engage questions and like learn further things instead of being like shy and scared, because that's what creates this whole racism shit that people be like yapping about, like you're racist, this is racist, that. It's like, yo, everybody really be racist in America because they too afraid to you know tap in with like, yo, just anyone. Like, I don't get it. But that's probably just for me as a white kid, you know what I'm saying? Like growing up with mad white people around me and mad white families and shit. Cause I see a lot of the ignorance within that, you know what I'm saying? But that's a problem to me. It's like, yo, who do you think like consumes the most shit in America? I'm not saying it's white people, but a lot of the white people be buying all the other culture shit. They buy hip hop, they buy the Mexican shit, they buy the fucking Chinese shit, all the
You know,
games, all this
the
and that.
most appreciated fans, the most appreciated hip hop fans are in fucking Europe. That's where all the real money is, bro. And yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
there's different ethnic groups out in Europe, but primarily it's European. It's Europeans, bro. You know, your shit froze up again, bro. Yo, Al, your shit froze. You frozen in time, bro. Uh, you're still frozen.
You
All right,
good?
I think you're good. Yeah, I
Alright.
don't know what's up with your shit, bro. I don't know. I don't know what house your pops built, but
Hey, he built this Wi-Fi router with wood, man. It's
yo,
generating. It's a
you
steam
got the
engine.
Wi-Fi router wrapped in foil.
Yo, we gotta hide from the government somehow. No, I'm just playing.
Super hi-fi, dog. That's
Yo,
hilarious. Uh, I forgot what the fuck I was saying, but I feel like a lot of what's wrong with society today is no one is a lot of people not only do people not really care, but people are faster to speak than to listen. I feel like that's the problem. A lot of people don't give a fuck about learning. Like people are a bunch of crybabies. They want to cry and shit on
yo,
the internet
word.
on
But
about
not they don't
something.
even want to listen too. Like they won't listen to shit.
But
Like
I
you
feel
said,
like that
that's so
comes from
right.
people. People are crying because they want to be heard. But if you want to be heard, you need to listen and observe and then
Yes.
speak because you need to be educated on certain things. Like I love my homie. I love all my homies, but one of the homies, I won't say his name, but he should send me this video about how in the 90s, all these labels had gangster rap, had they were fucking, they planned to bring gangster rap out into the mainstream so they could program kids to fucking shoot other kids or some other. But I'm like, man, you need to stop. You need to stop fucking watching internet videos, dog. Because
Yo, for real.
all you're doing is listening to other dumb fucks that
Yeah,
listen to other dumb
regurgitate.
fucks, and now you're listening to this bullshit, and you're gonna spread that bullshit around. Like, stop!
And
I
then
had
it's
to stop
negative.
talking. Let's
It's
stop talking.
negative too, right? Because they're only gonna be like spewing this negative viewpoint of what is this hip hop when it's like, nah, like that's some Dr. Umar shit coming in and being like, yo, blaming hip hop for like all this shit when okay, let's just say uh hypothetically that fucking hip hop was given to us to be a bad thing. Look at all the good things that we've turned it into though. So how are you
Yeah,
gonna use hip hop and be like, oh, it's so like, yo, you could take anything, it's a bounce, it's a pendulum. You could take anything and flip the scale. Anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Like that's what people be so that's what I'm saying. They're so like unwilling to learn from someone else in real life, engaged in real time, but they got all these regurgitated ideas from the internet in this pocket phone that we got, and like there's no experimentation. Whereas like for me, I can't lie, bro. I push the limits a lot. Like every time I'm in a situation with anybody, I try to like bring things up. I try to like ask questions. I try to talk about shit, and everyone will chalk it up to like, man, why you always gotta get so deep with it? And I'm like, it's not even really I'm getting deep with it because like some of these are problems that we face every day. So we gotta kind of at some point, hey, be willing to move forward in some gesture. Like shit.
I just feel like a lot of people aren't ready to have certain discussions because that's where society is at today. Like, God forbid you're a deep thinker, you're a weirdo. God forbid you don't ask questions. Now you're asking too many questions. Like the like society today is really wants to program you to be like a good I don't know what it is. They just program you to just not think and just talk out to like just talk nonsense, listen to nonsense, and it's just a repetitive cycle. Like I see it, I just see it a lot with people, just the way like they raise their kids, just being outside. People don't even want to say hi to you. I go for my walks and people look
Yeah,
at me and it's just like they just look at me and they want to walk away and shit. Like, damn, I don't get. I see you every day, bro. I say
yo,
what's up, and you just look at me and look at the ground and just like I don't
you be
know. A lot.
walking
I
your
feel like
dog,
yeah, bro. Like
and they don't
I
even
say
want to say what up to the dog. They don't even want to come up and be like, "Hey, can I pet your dog no more?" Remember that? Remember when people would be
yeah.
like, "Let me pet your dog," and like, yo,
Yeah,
shit like
and
that
then
don't even
they
really.
tell the dog, "Come on, biscuit, come on." You know what I mean? Like it's like, come on, bro. Like fuck you and that dog, bitch. Like, and actually, no
Yeah,
fuck. Give me the dog. I'll take care of this dog better than shit. But like, I don't know.
yeah,
It's the way the people are today is trash. I give society a fucking -4 on the whole society ratings. I mean, who the fuck
yeah,
am I to judge? But it's just I'm actually outside, bro. I'm actually in these places around people, and I say like 1 out of 30 people are cool. That's why I'm trying to be around like-minded people and be around better shit. Because when you're not around the right influences, when you're not around the right people, that energy it flows into you. You don't even know that you're absorbing all this
yeah.
fucking dumb shit energy, and all
And
you're
yo,
gonna do is infect other fucking idiots.
yeah, it's a big like virus, and like that's why everything is really a virus. You could be not in a bad way though, like you could be real influential in a positive way, and that could rub off on someone, and like that's why we are trying to like utilize the internet, and we see people that are like-minded through the internet in different areas, and we use it to like connect with them. There's nothing wrong there's nothing wrong with that, because like how like it's actually something that we've never really done before in life. Like we've never had this like almost telepathic way to like hit up someone from all the way in Kansas or some shit and be like, hey yo, like we could work on this and do something for the community. Boom. Like, yeah, there will be people that argue and be like, what does art benefit for the communities really? Because there's people that build places could do that too. And that's what me when we're on the phone or whatever, you were telling me about the website shit, which is a good ass idea. And it's like, yo, that's the type of way we got to think with art. We can't just come in and be, yeah, I'm gonna make some music. What up? Like we got to start thinking like, what other routes could we provide for the future? Not only the future, but ourselves too. Like sometimes we gotta think for ourselves, and like right now it's like, yeah, we could keep working on our crafts and like getting better and branching out, but what else? Like there's got to be something else that we could provide for like the community, real time, real place, real like help.
I
And
just want to say, I just want to go on record and say, fuck the community. There's a lot
Okay.
of communities out there that don't give a fuck about you. Now I'm not saying fuck all the communities,
Yeah,
but
no,
like
I hear you. Okay,
the
yeah, but like
community,
still on that. Let me see.
I've been around the community that just all it does is it's like self-serving. It's like
Yeah,
they want you to support them and they can give two fucks about you. Or if they do give you like some sort of look, then it's like when some little discrepancy happens, oh man, we supported you. Oh, what? Like, oh, really? This is how you gonna be? We supported you and all that. They could give you they could give you $1 and they gonna complain why you didn't give them $10 or some shit. It's like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, I thought we was
yeah,
fam. I thought we was so-called friends. Friends don't backstab each other.
yeah,
Friends don't threaten other people with trying to block shows. That's not what a friend is. A friend is somebody that's gonna provide you opportunities or situations and don't expect shit back. Like I'm not gonna be like, all right, Al, since I put you on my show, when you become big, I better be on your show. I can give a fuck about any of that shit, bruh. Like I'm trying
no,
to create,
100%.
that whatever I put out into the world, I don't expect back, bruh. I just expect respect, and even if I don't get that shit, bro, I don't care. Like, but that's
Yeah,
why I say going back to fuck the community because certain communities is kind of
yeah.
like really self-serving and selfish, and that's not what
Nah,
I'm about.
you're so right about that, low key. Like
It
I've
just depends
expressed
on
that
where you
too.
are.
Nah, I can't lie, man. I feel that I've expressed that a lot. Like I think a lot of the times the reason like people that really do know me personally, they don't really fuck with me because I've always called people out and been like, "Yo, why does no everyone act like they support local art, but they fucking and they say they would, but they never do though." Like I never seen them like ever, and it's I don't know. It always bothered me or whatever. Man, said.
That's a funny name. I'm gonna say it in Spanish. Watras Warag. Watras. That's dope.
Yo, even
Yeah, man.
honest.
That's what I'm trying to see. JMT, Jedi Mind Tricks were also very big in the past decade. There's a club in my country which brought many great names like Daddy, Big Daddy Kane, Raekwon, Ghostface, Sean P, just to name a few. Yeah, that's what's up, man. I see, and I appreciate all the homies out there in Europe. Yeah, man, keep talking that shit. I appreciate all the homies out there in Europe. Uh, I'm trying to be out there. Big Serbs is trying to be out there in Slovenia. Big Serbs and Big Serbia, everywhere, man. I'm trying to. I'm so sick of this oversaturated ass me ass place that I'm in. Don't get me wrong. I love all my fellow artists out there. I love all my fans out here. But this shit is trash, bro. If you're not on that hippity dippity ass, if you don't, if you're not looking a certain way, sounding a certain way,
Yeah.
rapping a certain way, then they just throw you the fuck away. And guess what? I'm throwing everyone out of the way, bro. The SS Big Bell is on is trying to go overseas with it, bro. Shout out
Yeah, that's
Watras
what's up.
for real.
Mm.
Chat me in, bro. I'll shoot you some exclusive shit, man. To you know what I mean, just to wave the flag for me, bro. Because as much as I love America, fuck America, man. A lot of people are just on some bullshit, and that's not even me trying to trash everybody just because you came on the live. It's just I already see so many of the fucking pitfalls of the
That's just how
fucking
we feel.
of like how it is, bro. Like just
Yeah.
traveling, going to Mexico, and just going like to all these other places. It really puts you in perspective. Like, wow, we're like pieces of shit without even knowing. Like we take so much shit for granted, and we cry about the most first world bullshit, like first world problems. Like there's motherfuckers who make 50 fucking dollars a week and shit, bruh. And that's crazy. But yet we're complaining about all this other shit that don't mean shit, you know?
Word. You're so
But man,
right. You so
but before we close it out, man, what's the message of the day? I'd love to bring the message of the day. So what's the message of the day from Blind Al in his own words?
Hey yo, the message of the day, man. It's you know, you gotta be blind sometimes to see God. That means you gotta close your eyes sometimes to see God. Like sometimes when you meditate, they tell you to close your eyes, man. So, hey yo, sometimes you gotta like not watch the circus and just be blind to that shit and get and remain yourself. You know what I mean? And look inside, inner. So, you know, we do a lot of research, but let's do some inner search. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm
That's
saying.
fucking fire. That's dope, man. I'm totally 100% with that, man. Sometimes you just need to like cut everything out and search within, bro. Like really
Yeah,
figure who you are, like figure who you are as a person. Do the knowledge itself, and then you could get some understanding on the outside. I would like to thank you for coming on, taking the time out of your day to get on the podcast. You know what I mean? This was really like in depth. This is like a one
yeah.
of a kind episode because I don't even talk like shit like this. Like people don't even
Oh,
like,
word.
I haven't even spoken on any of this shit. So the fact that you came on and we could talk about it is like it really it's gonna live on forever. Like it's not a bullshit
Hey,
episode.
peace.
I
Peace,
love
man.
talking. I love talking this shit, bro.
Word.
Um, but yeah, man, we gonna end it off with that one. You know what I mean? This is the God's Hour.
Hey,
We
yo,
out.
peace. Thank you for having me. Blind. Peace
Peace.
out.
We gone.